Hello everybody, it's Nana Marie in Quebec City. It's Sunday and typically I like to do a cooking sermon, but I don't feel like cooking today. We live in the house of the rising sun. And we're being radiated. And I'm going to let that cough stand. Typically I turn it off if I'm coughing, but this morning I woke up with burning eyes. My eyes felt like they were melting inside as soon as I opened them. And because I do stay up many nights and do my work, my writing or whatever, I know that the radiation comes through the night. And that's what's happening. We have a lot of metal in our body, and the narratives continue to push, putting even more metal in the body. So my health systems that have been so weird since I had the PCR test, I think it was just a lot of metal put in me. And I had immediate symptoms, and I continue to have symptoms. It's radiation, and we're being distracted with a shitload of other problems. But I sort of wanted to talk to my subscribers about my health, and that I'm really just listening to my own spirit now. I don't work with words because they're full of shit most of the time. I work with numbers, with the spirit world. Numbers is our way of communicating. And I know that sounds far-fetched and way out there because we're used to the word. But every single word, every single letter can be put to a number. And for example, because of my lack of energy, somebody suggested, Barbara did, and somebody else too, Aaron. I'm sorry, I can't say that word. I've never been able to say it right. Aaron. I used to get teased all the time for not being able to ever say that word. Aaron. So yesterday it was, I went down to the market and I was going to get, because I've had a rash, I had all sorts of little health problems, to see what I could get to treat, because they're not going away. And when I was in the pharmacy there, I was looking at all these things to get and supplements, and I just thought, my spirit wouldn't let me buy anything, guys. I just said, no, I'm not fucking buying nothing. And I bought some polysporin spray thing for my rash, and it went away immediately, so that's good news. No, my symptoms are coming from radiation, and putting more metal in my body isn't going to help. And so you'd say, oh, iron isn't metal. Yeah, it's fucking metal. And when there's a huge push for pregnant women and other people to take iron, I think anything mainstream and is evil. I really do. I was told I had iron poor blood when I was a child. I had to go to the doctor every Saturday to give him a little bit of my blood to check it. No, everything to do with these Frankensteins is not for my health. It's to buy an artificial Cheryl Ann. It's to buy products to make me a non-flawed human being. Before in the old days we used to be sinners. Now we're just physically flawed and just need all these chemistries in a pill form to be better. So I looked it up, guys. Don't worry, I looked it up. And I wanted to make sure that my feelings and thoughts were matching what I see in Google. And you can Google it yourself too. And ask in different ways what is in those iron tablets. What is it made of and why are we using it? And it's a chemical, and they say it's because it helps boost the blood cells in you, makes them more active. And my first thought was, isn't there a better way to get blood cells active? But anyway, I get a lot of, I verified with a Google search that what foods have iron in it. Spinach, leafy stuff, nuts. I could go on and on, but I eat a lot of iron. A lot. It's my diet is iron. So I'm not going to go and buy something that I already have a lot of in me. It's natural iron, if that's what it's called. You see, you don't even know this chemical in you that they say you lack iron. How do we know it's iron we lack? I think that's bullshit when spinach has iron. I eat so much of it. I have a salad every day with spinach. And I don't have any liver or kidney issues. It's radiation. And in my house, anyway, it keeps me... I even have the feeling a lot of times that I'm in a X-ray machine all the time. But I'm not supposed to die. You know, I'm going through everything to tell you what's going on and how it has gone on every 100 years for the past 2,600 years. That's what I'm here for, to tell you what's going on. And if you heard it in the mainstream, or it's just part of your regular programming, I would question it. I do question it, and I won't, you know, because I like my subscribers, I wanted to check it out. And also Frank said I should take iron. Everybody, no, I have to listen to my spirit. I was going to buy it yesterday. I went to the store to buy it, but something in me stopped me. And I believe me more than I believe. Even if my body just stops, doesn't want to spend the money on it, no, it's not worth it. There's a reason that I trust. And I may not know the whole answer, but there's a reason. I trust myself. So that's what I say about anything to do with our historical upbringing on what is healthy for us. I just don't buy it. And I see most of the podcasters there on BitChute, they're selling that C60 stuff. I did my research on that too. No, don't go near that. But what they do is they take something and they pass it off as healthy. And then people just think the word healthy and they go and buy it. No, you don't need anything. Well, I'm not taking, you can take whatever you want. I'm not here to give you advice at all. I want you to do whatever you want. But for me, I am very comfortable with just cannabis oil. Oh, and the hydrochloroquine, that's so full of iron, of fresh vitamin C and D. I take that every day. That's iron, if that's the blood pusher, thing that they call iron. No, I don't trust any of the language in the medical community at all. It's all been twisted so that we're deluded, totally deluded. But I was fascinated with numbers recently, even more than I have been before. You see, since the beings of light came, and even a bit before, I have been seeing numbers everywhere, and just make me stop and look. And it started with the 1111 that most people get, the 111 number. And the number spectrum goes up to 9 before it starts over again at 0. And those numbers in combination are how I communicate with the spirit world and just know things. But the catch was to believe in myself. You see, because this isn't regular programming. And I get a lot of people saying to do different things, like a different kind of numerology. Even the mainstream numerology programs are flawed. Everything's flawed here, everything. It's been twisted. You know that figure 8? They say that's a symbol for eternity? No, that's a symbol for a reincarnation trap. We need to stop the twist and open that whole big round ball back up, because that ball is called the pie, P-I-E, and that is Christ. And we are all part of the pie. But we're in a reincarnation trap with our solar system, our star system, and our emotional consciousness. We keep repeating history emotionally. The same emotional horror show over and over and over again is because the word has been twisted and people live in delusion and believe what they see and they hear on TV. It's terrible. I found this really fascinating video, and unfortunately I didn't save it, otherwise I would have shared part of it tonight. But it had a bunch of numbers that were fascinating to me on how you can get your birth name. Mine was Cheryl Ann Grossclose, and figure out those numbers real quick. Like, it had a chart. It was on a YouTube video. I'll check to see if I saved it on YouTube. I don't know. But I found the numbers that my name came up with beautiful. Like, it's not in the language they're probably going to tell me, but I see a different message than what the formulator of this would have told me. You see, you don't want to get interpretations from anybody else, eh? You got to interpret it yourself. And that's the hardest thing, is for me to convince you that you can interpret it yourself. But the challenge is to believe in yourself when the thought comes to you or the idea comes to you. It will come to you. But do you believe yourself? And this is where people mess up. That's where I went through it. I already know. Like, it's been almost 7 years since the beings of light came. And believing in myself and my impressions, I mean, it was hard, but it's getting easier. And maybe as my time goes along, I can show you how to, trust your numbers, right? What's it called? Gematria. That's a place on the web you can go look at. Gematria, and you can type in your name and you can see a story sort of show up, except, I just have to put a disclaimer in here, the Gematria has been messed with big time. They'll flood it with fake, they'll flood it with something and make it twisted, do you know what I mean? It won't be the whole truth. But and that's what I found. That's why I stopped even going to Gematria for a while, because I could see gook in it, and it wasn't making sense. I wasn't getting the truth or story out of what I was wanting to look up. And the last one I did was Elvis Presley, I think, and that one did validate my theories about him being Jesus and King James and Trevor Forever. I'm validated on everything. But to try and convince you, I can't. But what I can do is encourage you to open up. Like, it's kind of weird, because the right brain is about the creator and flexibility and color and senses. That's our original right brain. And yet it's the one that's got the numbers. It's the one with the numbers. The left brain has no clue. It only knows how to add numbers up, right? Add them up. And I failed math. I don't know anything about math. But I do know my spirit is woken to this numerical system that speaks to me. And it can't be questioned anymore. It's just too much. I was born on September 11th. 911 is all over the map for me these days. So I know what that means. It's the end. 9 is the end number before we go back to 1. And we are being reset again. That's the whole truth. We're being reset back to 0. And it's coming sooner than later, I feel. The distractions in the media, with the storytelling and the fake theater, emotional theater, right? They need your emotions, right, to be focused on them. Make sure your emotions are focused so you're so drained you have no emotions for your family, right? You got to stay out of emotional situations and never go into a belief system unless you know for a fact it's true. Like, I prefer people who would, if they had a personal experience with something, to give me advice, right? But even then, like, no, we're not, like, stop it. The advice giving, guys. I hate to be mean, but can't we just trust that everybody's going to be okay and not try to control with our thoughts on how things can be fixed for somebody else? This is wrongful thinking. I don't want anybody fixing me, and I can't fix anybody. I've already said that. All I can do for maximum use is share what I'm going through every way, like everything I've been through from birth. It's been a remarkable journey. I have a million different stories. I couldn't do it all in one video. And they're all on purpose and spiritually driven, because my plan is on purpose. This dream I have, this song that's just playing in the background here, let the children have the world, because they're the ones with the dream in their brain, in their right brain. But we take it over to the left brain and teach them how to add numbers up, and not and we ignore our right brain capabilities, which is our intelligence. It's so different than what we've been led to believe, and children have the dream until they are introduced to fear. And a new imagination we want them to imagine. I told you about that client, she has a lot of foster kids and a husband, and her son wanted to die at 21 years of age, and he came to see me. She brought him with the whole family. Can you fix our son? He's been to psychiatrist after psychiatrist after psychiatrist, and he just won't. He wants to die, and we want to save him. And he's sitting there, and I'm looking at him. He reminds me a little bit of Trevor, and his name, in fact, was Tegan. So again, it's another story for me to relay to you, and I know that this woman, the foster mother and mother of this son, will not be mad at me relaying this story, because what happened was, after all that effort for psychiatry, we had one session. We had a second session, but he really didn't want to be there. He already knew everything. So what it was when he was a small child of 5, his grandfather had died and appeared in his room, and he told his mother. And his mother, of course, because of the grooming here, thought he was schizophrenic. A 5-year-old. And he'd been through hell. And no, you know why they get so enraged, schizophrenics? Because they're gaslit. Their reality is just not accepted here at all. And so they may see dark demons or something, after a while they'll become, so angry that they'll lash out. I've seen that. But it's the medication. It's the medication and the gaslighting that does it to people, for Christ's sakes. Anybody fucking dare talk to me about my schizophrenia, I'll talk to you, bucko. I'm feeling so much stronger in my position, and I was hospitalized here in Quebec, for my position on masks for children, how I said, oh, they're scaring the kids. 13 days for that. And I am a target. I'm a target of the government. I'm not stupid. I have been a target of the government since the day I was born for some reason. They follow me around like little rats and phone me out of the blue, want me to take a test for something. I don't want it. They're, I'm a target. And even just tonight, I noticed that there's this white pickup truck drives slowly by my house. It stops in front of my house. No, stops a little bit ahead, like he's looking for an address, and then backs up and looks straight at my house. And it's very obvious, right? I'm sitting right here. It's very, when somebody stops and comes back and looks. I don't know why. What they think they're doing. Like I'm not a threat to anybody. All I have is the truth, but they may be minions that are being paid to target people. There is a group called Targeted Individuals. I don't like hanging out there because they're groomed. They're so badly delusional. They can't tell the difference if it's CIA or spiritual. And most of the time what they're going through is spiritual. Government's not. I think they called it, there's this thing, the CIA, this is what they say, skull to voice to skull, that's what it was. It's such a stupid term too. Be careful of those ones with stupid terms. Voice to skull, where the government has inserted some sort of plant in their head where they hear voices. And I can't convince them. They should listen. But they get scared and they use their grooming, how they were raised, to judge themselves. And that's how, you're using your grooming on everything that you look at. So our eyes are very, very faulty here. And we're recording a movie from our eyes. And we don't want to record lies anymore. We want to get that twist. It has to come individually. I told you, we die alone, right? At a different time. One day this guy will die, the next day that guy will die. It's a totally different time. But we're all going to die alone. And face our own movie. And our imagination, guys, it's our imagination. And see how far removed you are from the imagination of a child, right? How the dream has been conditioned into all of us. It's neuro-linguistically programmed into all of us. And the only help, I can't even make a living. I could probably make a lot of money doing my clinical hypnotherapy and spiritual past life stuff. I could make a shitload of money, guys. Because people pay big bucks for that. And especially when they get results like I got. Oh, I was back to Tegan. He saw the spirit of his grandfather. And as soon as somebody believed in him, his heart was healed. His heart was healed. And that's what you need. You need somebody to believe in you. And you need to believe in someone. Instead of this judgment and what people could do better, is to believe in people. and say those words. It's reprogramming in a new way, saying new words where, you know, you put your trust into others without question. I mean, not if they're giving you advice. No, you don't put your trust, but what they're going through or what they're saying. I don't think that came out very well. But let's go back to numbers. I did this chart as well. These are polymer clay with numbers and symbols. These are the ones I get on a daily basis, like constantly. I get these numbers. And I just decided to do a chart about it because every bit of my art is spirit inspired. I never could do art in my life. I didn't feel, I felt, very, very bad at art. I had no motor skills for it. I would never use a paintbrush. How the hell are you supposed to use a paintbrush? I mean, you see, it's so controlled, right? Ooh, it's hard. Well, I guess you could train your left brain to do it, but that's not your free right brain. So I did finger painting, direct finger to paint. And I got so many results in my spirit from my knowing from doing that. And I encourage anybody, if you want to really get your soul back and create your own imagination and dream here on earth, is go back to childhood and play with your senses. Believe in your spirit, because I promise you, your spirit is begging you to love it and believe in it. Believe in yourself, in your own, you know, your own story. What messages are your spirit trying to tell you? Really, You're just afraid to look. And I'm saying that I was afraid to look too. Like I was in PTSD. I moved across 3,000 miles here to Quebec from British Columbia. I left my whole other story in British Columbia. I didn't know why at the time. I didn't know why. I was in a trance. I was in shock. I was in PTSD. Because what had happened to me in watching how my medical community were trying to kill me, and my ex, and my family all believing in him, it's it's too much. I don't have any believers in me, in my word, not over there. Oh, no, no. And the popular culture wins, which means the communist culture wins. And there is somebody controlling the communist culture and making things popular. And then you see other people doing it all. Yes, we should do that because everybody says so. But this is the stuff that we have to face head on, that it may not be right. And I'm very concerned about humanity and their soul when they see what they have done. In the name of Jesus, you will act out when you are controlled mentally on the left brain. Most left brain oriented people, I'm not going to lie, sorry, Mr. Mathematics, are very perverted sexually. I've got a lot of experience. And I did a survey, and it's people that are, very good students of the system, and they have a high IQ, and they they fantasize. They don't know what to do with their right brain, so they fantasize about sex. And when you see images that are given here on television on a constant rotation basis, it's hypnosis. you're pretty much um, gonna become what you fantasize about. You're gonna hate your movie. You're gonna hate your movie. The thoughts and fantasies are not hidden from you. And when you're back into your Christ position, it's horrifying what we do here. And that's what the stars all want me to tell you. They're horrified at what they do here. Forgive them. They know not what they do. All your dead people. Everybody knows when we cross over and wake up, because we're more alive and awake there than we would ever be here with half a brain, only using the left prison brain for decision making, because it goes in an order, and people are comfortable with an order. Well, I'm telling you, there is a better order. There's a way, way better, more logical system just waiting to be exposed. Now, I couldn't possibly be the one to get that out there, because I don't know enough, for one thing, and I, I don't know how I could explain my spirit with these numbers. I just don't know. It's like with when another thing you can do is start reading cards yourself. Like I got that deck of cards from a math professor from the University of Alberta. I think it was Alberta anyway. He came for clinical hypnotherapy. I don't even know what he was there for. I think he was just one of those secret angels that come up and give you something out of the blue, and they're supposed to. It's part of your story. And he gave me that golden box of tarot cards with 78 cards, which is the year Trevor was born. So I kind of took that as a sign that I should accept them, even though I was never a tarot reader. I don't know how you read those things. And you got to get a book and all that. Well, I won't read the book. I just read from my own feelings about what it's saying to me. I trust what I'm seeing in front of me now. And I'm able to use my own imagination as to how to connect it to my story and how to express it out to the world. Except I'm not getting the world. I'm getting very, very few. When you compare popular podcasts, I'm not one of them. And that's on purpose. It's going to be a on purpose thing. And there are people that are getting the same message from other people than me, and said in different ways, right? Said in different ways. Everybody has their own story and their own way of expressing it. And there are good people out there with a similar, because I saw this. They know. And I just feel that may be part of the hidden secret of the Illuminati, or whatever you want to call them. They're not the Illuminati. They don't illuminate anything. They darken. Everything is like the twist. Everything they are is the opposite. It's opposite. The Illuminati is the dark. And they have conditioned our brains to think in a dark consciousness and to not allow any light in, which is good news. And I have a shitload of good news, but we have to break through this cycle that we're in. Because right now, I'm telling you, the radiation it's going to be like 100 years ago, where suddenly a lot of people died. Suddenly. Not like here, how it's been trickling with COVID and whatnot. No. Suddenly dying. And it's suddenly dying mainstream thing is all. Why are we allowed to see all that suddenly died? Because they're conditioning our brains. Everything is the opposite. Or I just bought a book today called 180 Degrees. You should go on Amazon and take a look at what that's about. But my spirit screamed that I gotta buy the book. And I also saw that a message to me from one of my spirit guides that I am going to flip the world 180 degrees. And so I thought, when I saw that book, I thought, well, maybe somebody else already did. So I bought the book, and we'll see what happens. I'll let you know, and I'll give you a book review. Well, that was nice. I was able to get through all that. I don't know if anybody understood any of it. I know some of you do. I really do. I know Barbara and Man Who Feels, John, and several others. But sometimes when people compliment me and stuff, I don't take it well. I really don't. I'd rather see it in a like number than words. I don't know why. Um, Except your words of encouragement. They are very, very much appreciated. It just makes me feel that I'm touching somebody, and that really, really, that makes my whole day and night. Because I have feelings, right? I am not a machine, and I will not push my feelings away. I will not forsake my feelings anymore. I used to forsake them all the time, and that's why I had to drink all the time. No. You can cure anything you want in your body. But I'm here with this low energy because they don't want me to go outside. I'm in a protected house. And I have changed my thoughts around that, and I've reframed it so that it makes me feel better. But it's also true because I trust my guides. I trust myself. Like the numbers all around my house are protective numbers, there and there. And when I did take the trek down to, it's so too funny. I walked down to the market. It's about 2 kilometers um, there and back, and I thought, oh, it's not going to be easy, but I got out there, and when I was standing by a intersection, I looked over to the bakery, and I don't know why, I've walked by that bakery a billion times, and I've even bought a muffin or two from there, but for some reason my eyes wanted to focus in, like unegally, like just my spirit just wanted to look at the door and look at the wording on the door, and I couldn't believe that it had the number 527. That's the address. Well, that's Trevor's birthday. So I never noticed that before, and even though I've seen it 100 times, and yet I wasn't at all concerned yesterday about me being a target. Like that thought didn't come into me until today, when that white truck drove by. I was reminded of how targeted I have been here. It's just been a nice couple of years where they sort of left me alone, and maybe that's why I saw that. But I am highly protected anyway. For some reason, I can't die. Like you wouldn't believe what I've had, guys. Oh my God. It's just ridiculous how I've had heart attacks, too many to count. I've had a mini stroke. I've had so many health problems. I went into psychosis. Almost, I wanted to lure my neighbor over. This is kind of worrying, to me, that I was capable of doing that. I was not myself. And that has me a little bit worried. And what I'm saying to you is that in the big picture, there is metal in our bodies, and it will have an effect on you. It could be in your organs, right? When the radiation hits, it will affect one of your organs, your skin, your brain, your heart, your lungs. whatever other ones we got going there. So those will affect your organs, the radiation, when if you got metal in your body. So people are talking, oh, detox this, detox that. No, eat right, drink right, whole foods, organic foods, plants. That's the answer, is plants. And um, it's not that expensive, you know. I mean, I'm not rich, and I eat like a queen, like, because I eat healthy and I make my own homemade soup, my own homemade bread, everything. Eat a lot of nuts. Now, I don't like eating meat, you know, only because I know they're tortured. That's why. You don't torture animals and eat them. Like, ugh. But, you know, I'm addicted to meat, and that's the way it is. But I make sure I make it with love, and every meal is made with the intention of appreciation. And this is what's lacking here. Everybody has gratitude. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you for this food. But they don't really appreciate it. Like, oh my God, I'm here on earth in physical form. I'm able to cook this up. I can smell it, blah, blah, blah. Only I can't smell it anymore, and now I can't taste it. So I'm losing my senses here. Like, that's why I didn't cook today. Like, I don't have a sense of taste now. At first it was the sense of smell, now the sense of taste. They're taking the senses away. So that's me going through it to report it to you. You know, that's what I'm doing it for. And I'm not dead, so don't worry. I got everything under control, guys. And I don't want you to worry, and that's the other part of this. Because I know how people worry about other people. Well, you don't need to worry about me. I'm going to be just fine. What I want is to know you're okay, and that I've made a difference in any way at all. Because if I made a difference, then you've lifted me 100 miles. I don't need your money. I just need to know that something I said made sense to you, and you're able to do something different for your own imagination. Maybe you're inspired to go back to your childhood. Maybe you're inspired to erase everything you ever learned here. Or maybe you're just inspired to be a more loving and kind person, not only in your deeds, but in your thoughts about them, because those are the ones that matter. Your thoughts and feelings about others matter. And they matter to me. Music too really helps you quieten down, but I don't know, you know, like, so much music these days it's really horrible to your ears. They've really messed with the senses as far as your you wouldn't believe the music on the other side. Like, a lot of songs I have on my playlist came from the other side, inspired through music artists, and a lot of them are written especially for me to explain them to you, which I have done over the last couple of years, at the risk of people calling me names like schizophrenic. I'd like to introduce you to a whole nother world in your right brain, but you have to be willing to play, and you can't be such a stuck-up militant about things and an authority about anything, because really the smartest person in the room really knows we know nothing. Let's start over. Like I said the other day, if we were all babies, we'd get along fine. And that's where the magic is, when we go back and become the person we really want to be, not the person that we were conditioned to be. Doesn't matter how horrible. You can unwind that NLP programming. Trust me, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. The new Earth portal is 444, and that is about this time. Thanks all.